Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today, I will show you how I repainted this ace figure that I got online, which I think has potential to be more. So, I turned this guy from this to this. Now before we begin, if you enjoy my videos, please consider giving it a like and subscribe. Also, click the bell icon so you can get notified when I post new videos. Thank you. What I have here is a styrofoam that I bought from our local bookstore. It's nothing fancy, and I thought that the round shape would make for a good base. Next, I disassembled the figure to prepare it for some minor detailing. I will be using the stock base as well. And yes, there will be lights.
Awesome.
Then, I painted the styrofoam. I just used a standard spray can. This is just the regular gray primer that you can buy from your local hardware. But unfortunately, the footage got damaged. I was also short on time, so I was unable to record. It was unfortunate as I would also like you to see how I did it. Now, here I'm getting the outline of the stock base, so that later on, I can cut the styrofoam using an X-Acto knife.
Alright.
So the plan here was to carve out the battery slot that I am supposed to use. But later on I realized that I can just put the whole flashlight inside the foam. I just need to put a hole on the side of the base, so the flashlight can slide through. Now, onto the stock base. Here, I am measuring the hole that I need and carving out the hole as well, so I can install the head of the flashlight, which is supposed to be installed upright. Now that the hole is done, it's now time to mock it on the foam base. To do this, I will need to make a hole on the styrofoam, so I can check and plan the space that is needed to install the flashlight inside. Now here we see the hole that I mentioned earlier. But I'm not sure if this translates clearly on video, cause that hole actually goes all the way to the middle part of the base, where I was supposed to install the flashlight facing up. Anyway, let's start painting. Okay, so unfortunately, again, I lost some footage of me painting the custom styrofoam base. And that is due to a faulty memory card. I've already replaced the said card, and fingers crossed, the issue won't repeat itself. Now this is where I modified the flashlight, and now, instead of the whole unit, I just installed the LEDs on the base of the fire that came stock with the base of this figure. Using my soldering iron, I made the cracks and cement block spaces on the foam. Here, I'm making some stairs on the side of the base, so that it won't look plain, and give it a little fortressy vibe. One Piece fans will recognize that this was one of Ace's attack pose, after he was released by Luffy during the Paramount War at Marineford. Now in order to do this, I measured the size of the stairs that I want to make, then proceeded to cut the foam. Now, when cutting you don't need to be so precise, but also, try to avoid cutting all over the place. So, when you put the stairs back in their original position, they'll be the same size. You'll see what I mean in a minute.
Nicely done.
Now for the paint, I used a basic acrylic paint. There are cheap ones, and there are the expensive Tamiya option. But me, I went with the cheaper option. To thin the paint, I mixed yellow acrylic with a little water. I did repaint this base again, in primer gray. Now just to be sure, I did not use thinners cause it will, or might, ruin the styrofoam, and I will end up scrapping the whole project. Then, after that, I just painted the cracks and gaps in between those cement blocks. Well, you get the idea. Now I'm not gonna bore you with my majestic AF brush stroke, so let's just speed things up. And it's done. Now I will leave this to dry for 24 hours. And while that's drying, let's move on to installing the light. So here's the fire that I modded using the LEDs from my old flashlight. I put long wires so that later when I need to solder them, it will be easier. I also soldered wires to the positive and negative leads in the flashlight, which will be installed horizontally. Now that I have soldered the wires under the base, it's time to test the light. Hope it works. Yes. Now that we've confirmed the light functionality, we can now proceed with fixing a few details on the figure itself. Now starting with the body of Ace, we can see some minor paint issue on his armband, so I'll try to fix that with a paintbrush. I went with 2 coats of paint on his armband, so that when I clear coat the piece, it should hopefully look better than before. I'll be clear coating this piece off cam so I can start with the lower half of Ace's body. The lower half of his body consists of his shorts, a belt, leg bag, and slip-ons. I call them slip-ons because most of us know that these are not his boots. I also touched up his leg bag first, but I forgot to hit record. So here I am, painting his belt. The manufacturer must have forgotten to paint Ace's belt, or they were just too lazy. But for me, that's okay. You get what you pay for, right? So just like the armband from earlier, I've already painted the second acrylic coat for Ace's leg bag, and now I'm doing his belt as well. Now, I am just painting in the belt loops for both his leg bag and belt. Now this is the part where I carefully paint the borders between his leg bag and shorts. Then I move on to the whole shorts. And also, I carefully paint the borders between his shorts and his belt. I'm just adding some few final touches. And there you have it. Ace's lower half is finally done.